There's a reason you see that red equipment out on golf courses everywhere. It's not just because Toro makes great equipment, it's because they understand what happens at 4:30 in the morning. When the crew is heading out, the dew is heavy, the clock is ticking, and there's no more room for equipment that doesn't perform. Toro has been solving problems for golf course superintendents for generations, and they're not slowing down. From mowing and irrigation to autonomous technology and everything in between, Toro is always looking for a better way to get the job done. Toro, always solving, always evolving.
Yo, I'm out before the sunrise, first to hit the course ground. With a buggy full of tools before the first round. Gotta move the pins and brush the dew away. That's how I maintain that turf today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Turf Today, recorded on the Superintendent Network and brought to you, as always, by Toro. My name is Adam Kershane, and I am joined by my co-host, Brian Laurent. Today, we are heading down to the Detroit Golf Club to talk to Director of Agronomy, Sam Moynihan, who has seen a lot of different things in this industry. He's worked at a number of different golf courses, has a lot of experience, and we are very fortunate to finally get him on here. He's been wanting to be on, but he's also had so many different things go on that it's just taken us a while, and we're very, very excited to be able to present this one to you. This is an episode that everybody in the industry can get something out of. Sam has worked at smaller golf courses, major golf courses, and of course, being at Detroit, has hosted numerous Rocket Classics. So we're not going to waste any time at all. Let's dive right into this one with Sam Moynihan.
Yeah, that's calmed down a little bit, but
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, they're always busy. What's up, Sam?
I'm back. Sorry.
Important
Putting
call
out
from the
fires?
trenches or what?
Well, we got our North Course Super is going after a job right now, and he just got out of his interview, so he was calling me and kind
Exciting.
of giving me a little rundown of what he was seeing. So I got to give him a buzz after this and talk a little bit more. But sounds exciting.
Local gig?
No, it's on the other side of the state, but it's where he's from. So the like Grand Rapids area. So he's pumped, get back closer to the family.
Yeah. So how you feeling, man? Fresh off a renovation, a PGA Tour event, and a baby.
Crazy. Man.
Uh,
Congratulations, by the way.
thanks.
Yeah,
I'll say the baby is harder than any tournament I've ever done.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of like sleep deprivation. It's like 2 hours you're up and 2 hours you're up, and at least during tournament, like you could get a solid 4 at some point, whether it was during the day or at night but yeah, just the constant cat naps are killing me right now.
How about how would you compare it to renovation though?
No, I'd say it's still harder. It's still hard. I mean, trying to keep grass alive, you can always reseed grass, but humans are a little bit more delicate, I suppose.
Yeah, they take a lot of attention. Got to keep to their schedules and everything they got going on. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
The wife's doing well, though. You guys have a pretty good routine right now?
We're working on it. He'll be a week old tonight, so we're still figuring it out. Yeah. But we're getting the hang of it. I'm a master with the diapers, so
nice.
That's kind of really my contribution right now is diaper duty and trying to keep the house tidied up and just making sure she can get as much rest as possible.
You're a pretty good swaddler?
Oh, yeah, it took a couple times, but I had a nurse in the hospital kind of give me the rundown, and then
That's right.
It's just like a burrito. You just got to make sure you tuck the edges in and get it tight. And He's
Make sure no bits fall out.
well, he's always punching, and so he's constantly wiggling an arm out here and there, and then we got him some of these sleep sacks, so it kind of like
Oh
tucks their
yeah.
arms in, and that definitely helps when he's getting fussy. Just getting him sort of tight like you're holding him, and he'll calm right down.
Have you invested in the PPTPs yet?
I don't know what that is. No.
Oh.
I will tell you, they were a lifesaver. Google them, Amazon, whatever. So when you're changing the diaper, you don't, take a stream to the face. It's, I'll tell you, man, it's the go-to.
Yeah, and it goes for both boys and girls because my son never peed on me, but my daughter has. So it's
Oh,
I
really?
don't really get it. Yeah, I never used the TB for her. I figured we were out of the water, and nope.
You're not out of the danger zone, huh?
No, they can still get you. So a lot of surprises coming, Sam. But it's nice being a young parent. You get to experience it all, and it all goes. They say it goes by fast, but it's a day by day process, and you get to kind of live it all with them and see it all happening right in front of you. It's a magical experience. So happy for you, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. Congrats. So we jumped ahead a little bit. We usually like to start these off by giving you the floor to introduce yourself. So go ahead. Tell us who you are, Sam.
Yeah, my name is Sam Moynihan. I'm the director of agronomy at Detroit Golf Club. Been in the turf business for 18 years now.
God, you're getting old.
All right. I started in high school, and as just a summer job, and kind of never looked back.
And you've been on our list for a very long time, but you've had a lot going on here for the last couple years. Talk about just some of the things that have been going on at Detroit Golf Club.
Yeah, we I started here kind of right out of the gate. We had a couple greens get vandalized my first year, so that was sort of right into the fire. We ended up resodding those, grew them in like 6 weeks, had a tournament on them. And then that started project planning. And by the end of 2024, we were breaking ground on a new storm drainage system for the property. So Detroit Golf Club is like basically dead flat. There's 5 feet of elevation change from one end to the other. So in periods of heavy rain, the property was prone to flooding. And we were actually utilizing an old Donald Ross drainage system from 1927 that he installed. And it had just come to the point where it really wasn't functional for the modern age. And before my time, the club had reached out to a civil engineer to kind of review the existing drainage infrastructure and develop a plan moving forward because they suffered a very significant flooding event. I think it was in 2021. They got like 5 or 6 inches of rain in like 24, 48 hours, and almost the whole back nine of the North Course was underwater. So they knew they had to do something, and then they brought Tyler Ray in as a golf course architect to develop a master plan, and kind of coincided that master plan with the civil engineering plan for the drainage system. So in 2024, in fall 24, we started that project, and that was basically installing 30-inch ADS pipe like 15 feet underground, connecting into existing outflow structures on the property. So the property drains into the city of Detroit's stormwater system. And so we basically came from the last point on our property inbound, upsized all the pipe, changed the slopes a little bit, added new catch basins, new drainage infrastructure to tie all the rest of the drainage into. So we got that knocked out and right by December. So we broke ground in October, and then in about 2 months we had that work done, and that was pretty wild. The biggest drainage project I've ever been a part of, but it paid dividends, and it's the non-sexy aspect of the construction project, but I think it's the heartbeat and the heart and soul of the property and the new project. And then actually at the same time, we're installing a fire suppression system in front of the clubhouse. So we put two 80,000 gallon in-ground water tanks to feed the fire sprinklers inside the clubhouse. So that was rolling at the same time. And then we decided, well, hey, let's keep her going. And we did some irrigation main lines on the north course for the new system. And then that winter, demoed our pumping stations, built 2 pumping stations over the winter, and took down about 170 trees. Continued that up into spring 25, and then took a pause from May, about 6-week pause from May to June at our 25 tournament. And then the day after, so actually the Tuesday after, we broke ground on our full course renovation. And then we had that wrapped up in about 110 days.
Wow.
So it's been a long 18 months for sure. We had a little bit of construction work this spring, patching up all roads, doing a little bit of paving, some cart path cuts, and just trying to sort of tie everything together. And then really just making a big push this spring on the growing, making sure we had some really quality conditions leading into opening for the membership, and then also the Rocket Classic this year.
That is busy. That's nonstop. So I guess you're looking forward to a little bit of a break next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just had a baby. There's no such thing as a break now,
No,
man.
it's true. It's over
game
now.
over. Yeah. Game over, buddy.
That's really cool, Sam. Well, take us back a little bit and tell us just kind of how you got inspired to work in this industry, maybe some of the people that you worked for, and ultimately kind of how you got all the way up to working director of agronomy at Detroit.
Yeah, it actually started as a summer job. I think it was 17 or 18, and the summer right before college, and was trying to, bumming around the house and not really get a job before school. And my mom basically said, "Hey, you're going to go to college broke if you don't get a job." And I hit her with it. Well, nobody's hiring. And she said, "I saw this job ad in the newspaper for golf course maintenance. You like working outside, so why don't you go apply there?" So I went to the course. I talked to the starter, asked where the superintendent was. He pointed me kind of down the hill to a barn. So I walk in and kind of startled him a little bit. I don't think he was expecting anybody to just like pop in on a Sunday. And said, "Hey, I heard you're hiring." He said, "Who told you that?" Well, my mom. "Who's your mom?" She saw it in the newspaper. "Which newspaper?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know."
Jeez, do you want me to work or not?
And he basically said, "If you can be here at 5:30 tomorrow, you're hired." I said, "All right." And didn't get a day off that summer, but kind of fell in love with it, and covered all the basics, walk mowing, changing cups, raking bunkers, and really fell in love with it. And then went to started school at West Virginia University. And then after freshman year, everybody got their off-campus houses, and leases started in May. So, well, we're gonna burn 4 months of a lease, or we're gonna try to stay in town and work. So me and my buddies were all gonna play adult and stay in town. So went to the university job fair and saw a group from a place called Pikewood National, and went up and said, "Hey, I know golf course maintenance." They kind of looked at me, laughed, said, "Sure, kid. Here, sign, put your name on the sign-up sheet, and we'll call you." So I went up. I interviewed with the superintendent at the time, Brett Bentley. He hired me, and then I spent the next 4 years working spring, summer, and fall at Pikewood, and loved every minute of it. It was an incredible property and an incredible crew. I mean, all the guys we worked with there, have moved on to kind of bigger and better jobs. And one of the assistants, Joel Foreman, is the superintendent there now. So it's great, going to different conferences and stuff and seeing some of these guys that you started with, and maintaining those relationships. So then we graduated college and kind of parlayed my time at Pikewood into an internship at Muirfield Village. Spent a summer there and really got bit by the tournament bug, being a part of a memorial and seeing all the names up on the banners of the guys who came before and had moved on. And, that whole camaraderie and brotherhood, I was like, this is awesome. I want to be a part of this. Towards the end of that summer, Paul actually approached me and said, "We can't keep you this winter. We got some other guys we're got to keep, but we want to keep you employed. We want to keep you learning." So I got some buddies down in Florida, or, I got some buddies out in California, and I said, "I don't really want to go to Florida, but California sounds great." So he got me set up with an internship at LA Country Club. I went out to work for Russ Myers for 8 months over the wintertime in LA, which was awesome. Highly recommend anybody who is looking for something to do over the wintertime is, go south or go west and keep learning.
As long as you get housing paid for, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we lived at the shop, so
Yeah.
like we literally walked out of our door, took a left, and then we were in the break room. But it was a blast. There's some good stories from that, but
I don't know that they're going to be able to be shared on this platform, but
yeah, that's probably for the
yeah,
best.
that's what Adam just sent me a text before this. Did you get some dirt on Sam? Is I've got enough dirt on Sam that I don't need to reach out to anybody, but those aren't for this platform.
Yeah. So ended up getting offered a full-time job back at Muirfield. So went back there for 3 years, kind of working my way up the ranks. And then Kyle Steidel was the superintendent at the time under Chad, actually. And so Kyle got the job at Caves. Kyle knew I was from Maryland, so Kyle offered me, an assistance role with him at Caves. I was interested in it because I hadn't seen my family in 4 years. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to get home, spend some time with them, and, get out to a new property, kind of cut my teeth. Coming from Muirfield, you kind of feel like you got it all under control, and, you get thrown into a new property, and it's you got to learn a new property. So had a great 5 years out there with him. We did all types of construction projects and drainage projects, and had the 21 BMW Championship, which is, a tournament in August in Maryland is tough. It's hot. It's nasty. But it was awesome, getting to see that build out compared to a Memorial or a Rocket. I mean, it's twice, 3 times the size. It's insane. So being able to be a part of that was really special. And then, kind of got through that. All right, well, let's start looking at superintendent jobs. We've been at it for, like, to that point, 12, 13 years now. So, like, all right, I think I'm ready. So interviewed with a couple clubs, kind of the full spectrum of, like, mid-level, lower level country clubs, some resort style clubs, and then kind of settled on, well, I spent a lot of time and effort in this business, sort of chasing something, and that was hosting my own event. And so kind of kept some connections with the PGA Tour, and basically, hey, if a spot ever comes available or open, keep me in mind. I'd love the chance to interview for a host site. So sure enough, in 23, the job at Detroit opened up. So had an opportunity to interview, came up here, felt like I crushed the interview, and then, waited a couple weeks. All right. Got a phone call. Hey, you're our guy. And, that's kind of how we got to where we're at now.
You mentioned being from Maryland, so we're going to get away from turf for a little bit. I know you enjoy your time on the water. What's the dream boat for you?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I was actually the baby had me up at like 3 a.m. last night, and I was on Facebook Marketplace looking at boats.
Nice.
Didn't pull the trigger. I still got a little scar tissue from my last one. But right now, probably an Albin 28 Tournament Express. If I was looking for, like, something to hold a little bit longer term with the Yanmar diesel. But looking now more with the family aspect of it, we're probably a mid 20-foot center console, something we can trailer, or a smaller, like, cuddy cabin.
You're more of an engine guy, not a sail guy, or what?
Oh no, yeah, no, powerboats for sure.
Yeah.
I enjoy a nice sail, but arguably the sailing capital of the world, Annapolis, Maryland. But no, I like to get where I'm going, and
Find the fishing hole and go.
yeah, that's my time on the water is usually spent swimming or fishing, so sailing isn't necessarily conducive to fishing. But that's what we're targeting.
You spent some time on the ice too. Do you still play hockey?
Not as much as I'd like to. I had an old assistant, also named Adam, who's from the east side of the city, and he invited me to a couple Saturday morning skates with his buddies this winter. So I got out a couple times. I'm hoping now with construction behind us that I can maybe this fall hop on a men's league team. I live like less than a mile away from the local rink, but yeah, I haven't. I moved to probably the hockey capital of the world, and I had barely played. But yeah, I spent my early childhood up in New Hampshire, so grew up playing ice hockey, traveling all over New England. Played actually in college, played club in college, and loved every second of that. And hockey's always been a great release, an opportunity to kind of let some aggression out. Forget about life for an hour and just kind of go out there and play. And another opportunity to meet people and make friends. And it's although I did when I skated, back in February, it's the pants were getting a little tight, and I think the skates are a little bit too small. So it's tough looking at the price of skates now and equipment now. It's
incredible.
Like, ooh, that's an investment.
Yeah, I think golf clubs are expensive. Yeah, hockey stuff is. Yeah, I know. And I made my parents buy all the goalie gear every couple of years, which is probably pushes people away from being a goalie parent. Just seeing the price tag on some of that stuff is absolutely insane.
Yeah, we've got one of our board members here. He's got two kids who are they play for, I think, Little Caesars, and they're all over the place all winter. And yeah, one of them's a goalie, and he laments a little bit about the pads.
Oh, it's wild.
We are back with another Ask the Agronomist segment featuring PhD agronomist Tony Goldsby from the Andersons. Our question today comes in from Bill C. During tournaments, how long will the turf staff have to prepare the course after a rain delay, and what will they do to get it done? Keep up the great work, fellas.
Well, thanks again for having me on the show again this week, Adam. And again, thanks for all the great end user questions that we get submitted every week. This one coming in from Bill. And, when I think about major tournaments and, rain delays, it's really like the turf team almost goes into a little mini NASCAR pit crew mode for that, call it 30 to 90 minutes once that event happens. And, I think when you kind of look at a list of what are the key things that the crew is really focused on trying to get the course back to, playability. First and foremost is removing any excess water, whether that's using squeegees, blowers, pumps, get it to a place where obviously it's not going to impact play. Really looking at those bunker washouts and getting, repaired edges and getting your bunker faces back the way they need to be before you kick things back up. And then potentially re-rolling some greens if possible. You may have some cup placements or cup changes that you got to make depending again on how the water impacted the course. But for the most part, right, I think again 90 minutes max. Most crews are going to really have that place ready to roll. And I think especially when we're talking about major championships. This was obviously really on display just a few, last month when we were at the Travelers Championship and, they had an 85-minute weather delay and, those drainage systems on those courses are typically advanced enough at this point in time that they can absorb tremendous amounts of water and really, have that water be put into a place that's not going to impact play after a short period of time once it ceases. So, they had that place up and running really quickly and finished out play that Saturday night. And I think one of the other things and factors that a lot of the crews typically have in their favor is, a lot of these storms that come in, they're not just necessarily rain events. They typically do have lightning that go along with them. And, typically lightning ends up delaying play quite a bit longer than even the water itself. So they get a little bit more of a buffer right there, especially when we're dealing with lightning delays that they, can work through as well.
Love it, Tony. Thank you so much. This wraps up another Ask the Agronomist segment featuring Dr. Tony Goldsby from the Andersons. If you're a golf course superintendent, you know that not all fertilizer is created equal. The Andersons have been developing golf-specific products and technologies for decades, helping turf managers take a more precise approach to nutrition. With products like Contact DG, Fulltech SG, Carbon Coat technology, and their nutrition tool, the Andersons is focused on giving superintendents the tools they need to grow better turf and make smarter agronomic decisions. Because when you're chasing perfection, precision matters. Check out everything the Andersons offers for your golf course at andersonspro.com.
All right, back to business stuff here. So I know when you got to Detroit, one of the things that was, a major emphasis for you was building the team. Talk about the evaluation process of how to build it, what you're looking for. Just talk about kind of all those variables and the things you're thinking about when you're trying to establish a new culture and a new team at a spot.
The biggest thing I look for is a willingness to learn, a new way, hard work, kind of dedication. I mean, those are sort of foundational pieces, I think, to having success in this business. And honestly, I'll take a diamond in the rough that wants to learn and wants to work and wants to improve and develop over maybe somebody who's a bit more polished, but, isn't necessarily willing to learn a new way of doing it. And so really what we've done over the last, let's say, 2.5 years is as we go through hiring processes for interns and assistants and staff members is kind of looking at people's personalities over maybe what's on the resume and kind of asking ourselves, is this somebody we would want to be around, right, for a long period of time? Because especially the interns and the assistants, you're at a tournament course, you're going to be working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, depending on what's going on. And do they have that personality that you want to be around? Or, are they more cynical or, potentially negative and hurting the team as a whole? Or are they more positive and uplifting? And so, I kind of switched from, looking at a resume going, oh, wow, look at all these great clubs and this and that. And to really more spending time during the interview process of just like trying to get to know the person, just understanding that, well, likely we're going to ask you to do things differently than probably you were doing at your last club. And so do you seem open and willing to learn? Like, do you seem like you've kind of self-actualized and you understand where you're at in the process, or are you kind of maybe a little bit ahead of yourself? And how is that going to jive with the rest of the crew? And then also during these interview processes, making sure these candidates spend some time with the rest of the staff we have on site and basically instructing those guys like, hey, feel these guys out because at the end of the day, you're going to spend a lot of time with them. And if you're not getting a great feel from these guys, initially, then that's probably a red flag that we should listen to. And from switching to that versus, kind of the big names on the resume, we've had a lot more success in getting a really strong cohesive unit. I've had assistants here now who are been here 2 or 3 years, and we're really focusing on promoting from within and kind of elevating the existing staff we have, and then focusing on just bringing in kind of entry level guys into the culture, into the team, and then delegating that responsibility of kind of coaching and training to the other assistants who've been in the program and understand the program and kind of what we're after. And then that also, I think, helps with the buy-in long term, is that like, hey, I'm a part of the success here at Detroit. And I think that's really helped us.
You've been around some amazing groups, obviously in Muirfield and going out and working with Kyle. I was talking to Tyler Bloom the other day, and he was telling me that you worked at LACC with just an electric group of people. So you must be drawing from a lot of these different teams and crews that you've worked with.
Yeah, I mean, the LACC people, like, I think back, we had Matt DeHusky was the North Course superintendent. He's up at Lake Merced. Justin DePippo was the North Course assistant. LB West, Dan Catterson, they were, I think, AITs at the time. And then the guy I was living with, my roommate at the time, Colin Harley, he's a super out in Philadelphia. I mean, just like everybody in that group kind of stayed in the business and continued to advance. And so it's great. You kind of have this like West Coast network, from just a simple internship, and getting an opportunity to catch up with those guys, at the show, or via text or a phone call. It's awesome. And having a tournament, we always are requesting volunteers, and so being able to rely on a professional network like that, like, hey, can you spare somebody for a week? And obviously it's a big expense sending somebody from California to Detroit, right? So we've being able to rely on those people to kind of support you on the back end has been huge. And then we do the same thing with our assistants and interns. Is if somebody's got a tournament and needs help, well, I'm always asking for help, and I've got to reciprocate. So I think that's also a unique avenue where we can really kind of help expand people's professional development and get them not only tournament exposure here, but also tournament exposure at another property.
You've done a boatload of tournaments, Sam. Do you have a favorite memory from all of the different events you've hosted?
Well,
Again, that you're able to share.
Yeah.
Something between the lines.
Probably, I think the first Rocket, Ricky won in a playoff. Hit a great shot out of the rough on 18, landed to like 10 feet, buried the putt. And then just a massive thunderstorm came in, like not 10 minutes after, and just kind of pushed everybody off the property. But we had, a great finish at Caves with DeChambeau and Cantlay kind of going toe to toe for like 4 or 5 holes. We had a 6-hole playoff here in 25 with Potgieter, which was like a little bit too much.
I was going to say, that's not a great memory.
That was like, come on, guys. I was like, it's now 8 o'clock. Holy cow, I want to go home.
Yeah, I noticed you moved that Ricky Fowler fathead that you have in your office. That's usually sitting right behind you there.
Well, this winter I got the other 2 team photos framed, and then I got our most recent team photo. I got to get that one printed and framed and then reorganized. But always want to highlight the team. It's not about me; it's about the team. But I guess kind of a funny memory would be the 2016 U.S. Open at Oakmont. Walking out of like that Sunday evening meeting, and I happened to pass by Dave, and he looked at my shirt and said, "Muirfield, you're responsible. Here, you're a shuttle driver," and threw a set of keys at me. I was like, "Oh, great. Now I got to be responsible for taking 15, 20 people to work every day." And so thankfully I brought my Disturbed Greatest Hits CD, and we were getting down with the sickness every morning. And by the end of the week, there was only a couple people wanting to ride in the van, which was nice. But
whatever you need to do to wake yourself up, right?
I like to come to work energized. So I know some people are a little bit more relaxed, kind of calm, come into the morning, but I'm always listening to something hype on the way into work to kind of get me going. So I'm not, we're not starting the day off on the wrong foot.
And then yacht rock on the way home.
You can't, Hall & Oates, Steely Dan, McDonald, you can't beat it.
Classics.
That or some reggae from time to time, just like kind of the beach vibe, oceany, just something lower beats per minute, just let the heart rate come down. You're going home. You got to bring the right energy back to the house. You don't want to be bringing the bad energy.
Agreed. Funny story about some reggae. When we were in Minneapolis last week, I played with Mike Turner from Toro, and we are getting our music playlist ready for the day. He's like, you know what? My son always listens to reggae when we play golf. He's like, it just tends to chill you out. So we threw some reggae on. It's probably the best I've hit the golf ball in I don't know how long. So it might be reggae on the golf course from now on.
Found a little something.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, we were just talking tournaments there, and we get asked a lot online just about people wanting to volunteer or wanting to go to their first tournament or what it's like. So I'd love for you to just run down, kind of going from regular maintenance with your crew to all of a sudden over the course of a couple weeks, you're now hosting a PGA Tour event. So just talk to us a little bit what that's like.
Well, it's, you're kind of ramping up towards the event, trying to peak that golf course for that week, really like the end of that week. And so, it starts with mowing heights in the rough. I've tried numerous times to elevate rough heights in a short period of time. And you really, if you want kind of good, thick, dense rough, you've got to start like at least a month in advance, raising those rough heights up. And then obviously, kind of conversely, you're working green heights down, trying to target a good consistent speed across all your greens. Then also data collection, right? So you got to know where your speeds are at morning and night. It's important to kind of understand how much speed you're losing over the course of the day. Clipping yield collection is important too, because you want to see how much you're growing, and then also kind of look at your regulation program and see if that needs to be adjusted, your fertility program, see if that needs to be adjusted. And with the ultimate goal of being able to produce a consistent green speed for the course of the day. And then also being able to continue to elevate that green speed kind of throughout the week. Fairway maintenance, we sort of kind of stay at the same maintenance height sort of throughout. We don't really necessarily lower fairway heights for tournament outside of our normal maintenance height. And then bunker preparations, the biggest probably time, energy, and labor is bunkers. Making sure you have good sand depth, compacted faces. Everybody understands how we're going to rake the bunkers consistently and what a good finished product looks like. And then just all the fine detail, maintenance, trimming sprinklers, drains, edging bunkers if they need to be edged or trimmed up. Greens cleanups is always a huge one. Making sure that you have a defined edge between collar and green so they know where they can and can't mark their ball. So really just kind of bringing that whole package together. And then, making sure you got good coverage too on your fungicide programs, that everything is kind of dialed in, and because you're going to go a solid 7-8 days without any sort of application. So you better make sure your program is rock solid, for at least a week. And then, hopefully a little bit longer, because you want to give everybody a day off on the back end, not
Yeah,
having to pull the
exactly.
sprayer out of the barn. But, yeah, that's the main difference. And then as far as like getting, if somebody is looking to get to an event, the easiest thing is just to reach out. We had a bunch of guys reached out to us this year. Our volunteer list filled up really quick, and so I had a bunch of guys I had to turn away, and then we finally, got closer to tournament week, and you always have some people drop out kind of at the last minute, and reach back out. I actually had 2 guys from Windsor who, kind of said, "Hey, keep me in mind," and said, "Hey, a couple spots opened up. Are you guys still available?" And so they were coming over the bridge every day, and they were awesome, great help, and they were super appreciative because they had never done anything like that before, and they just, wanted to be a
Nice.
part of it. And so I would say, easiest way to do it is, kind of reach out. And then I guess if you're, a younger guy or gal in the business, ask your superintendent if, if that's possible, if something the club will do for you. And, um, everybody is always looking. There's what's coming up. There's a Allied Challenge up at Warwick Hills with Dylan McMaster. It's a senior tour event. I think that's in like a week or two. So if anybody's looking for a spot, I think they're looking for some volunteers. But there's tons of events out there, and if you're looking for that kind of experience, it is harder obviously to get into like a Masters or a US Open or a PGA Championship, or the majors are a little bit tougher to get into. You kind of have to know the host organization or the host superintendent. But I think most PGA Tour events, they're always looking for volunteers. LPGA. I mean, I did nine events as on staff or as a host, and then another 11 as a volunteer. And my very first one was the U.S. Senior Women's Am at Hollywood Golf Club in Deal, New Jersey, which was quite an experience. That was the first sort of more naturalistic golf course I ever saw, and I was really blown away by that. And getting to meet those guys out there. So you got to start somewhere and get some reps under your belt, but don't be afraid to kind of take on some of these other events because they're out there and everybody needs help.
Yeah, it's great advice.
We are just going to take a quick second here to talk to you about our new partners, Live Soil. When it comes to growing healthy turf, it all starts with what's happening beneath the surface. That's where Live Soil comes in. Live Soil is built around living soil and billions of beneficial microbes designed to help create a healthier growing environment on your turf. Because we spend so much time looking at what's happening above ground, it's easy to forget just how important the soil is underneath it. If you're looking for a different approach to building healthier soil and growing better turf, check them out at livesoilusa.com. Live Soil. Grow more, water less.
One of the things that I love observing during tournament weeks is that process of getting things to peak, Saturday and Sunday. Talk about that process from where you start to where you want to end. Obviously, Mother Nature has the tendency to throw some stuff in there, but, I love just watching green speeds start at 12 and moisture, starts here and firmness starts here. And then you just kind of put the pedal down. Talk about how you plan for that and the process of getting there, from Monday to Sunday.
Yeah, I think it starts with sort of your baseline, kind of where you come into the week at. So obviously advanced week, you're really dialing into the data and trying to understand how everything is performing. You're getting those last couple apps out. So if it looks like maybe you're going to have a wet week or something, maybe you're thinking about a wetting agent application that might help you move a little bit of water, or vice versa. And then kind of as you get into Monday, seeing how the course performs, getting a little bit of feedback from the players, getting some feedback from the rules officials, kind of seeing how they're feeling the golf course is and whether where you want to be. And then obviously you kind of just keep ramping it up with the green speed. So with that, I mean, you're double cutting in the morning, usually double cutting and rolling in the morning. And then depending on how much speed you're losing over the course of the day, it's either a double cut or a single cut at night, sometimes with a roll, and then sometimes no cut. If you're fast enough, it's maybe just a roll to smooth it back out. And then from a moisture perspective, we try to keep a little bit of water on the greens Monday through Wednesday, especially Wednesday, because typically in my history, we have these pro-ams that just go on forever. I think the pro-am this year ended at 8:30. It was brutal.
Did they have a 6-hole playoff for the Pro-Am as well?
No, they had somebody played a 6-hour and 40-minute round.
Oh, jeez.
So rough.
Practice swings, eh?
But so you want to make sure you get the greens good through the day for that one for sure. And then, Thursday through Sunday, assuming you have kind of good weather, you're tapering down each day. And ideally, you understand sort of where your wilt point is on the greens. And then we like to be about 4 or 5% above that as our starting point and then try to work down. And then essentially Sunday, you're about 1% above your wilt point. And ideally, like Sunday afternoon, your greens are kind of in heavy moisture stress, with the understanding that they're going to survive 8 hours of this, and then we're going to put some water on them. That would be perfect case scenario. I've never experienced that up here. I keep buying rain gear and it keeps raining, so I think I'm just cursing myself a little bit. But we usually get a peak of the golf course like a Friday or Saturday, and then it rains. Actually, last year we got lucky; it rained early in the week. And then because we didn't need the grass on the back end, we were really, really pushing it. And that was pretty awesome. But, this year was a little bit different. We kind of switched it up. We went with hand rollers instead of the riding rollers. So, called in a couple favors, called Chad, called Kyle, and like, hey, can I bum a couple rollers for the week? And they're great guys. They helped me out. So that allowed us to be able to kind of get to the speeds we need without beating the crap out of 9-month-old greens. And so that was huge. And then we were tapering down. We had to this point really pushed the greens to that point, the new greens we have. So we had an opportunity to kind of creep it down, but we didn't want to get a little bit too out of control with just how young and juvenile they were. But we were able to see some significant firmness, out of the new greens and the new grass Saturday, and then of course it rained Sunday morning. But that's really how you try to do it, because if you progressively dry your greens out, you're going to build the most amount of surface firmness versus like Thursday you come in super duper dry and then you got put water on them. Now you just killed your firmness. So it's about tempering that moisture down over the course of the week, and then really over the course of the tournament, Thursday through Sunday, with the idea that you're kind of peaking those conditions, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, kind of as the final groups come through.
Did you borrow the pylons as well for the hand rollers?
No,
Yeah, that's right.
I forgot. No, I forgot to ask for those.
Well, that makes double rolling a whole lot easier then, right? That's great.
We did the flags. Yeah, we just
Okay.
same idea, just the irrigation flag. But it was great because a lot of the volunteers are like, hand rolling, what is this? And I'm like, oh, you guys are gonna love this. What?
Just you wait.
Oh, you can't. They're so smooth, and then here comes 250-pound roller you're pushing back and forth across the green. Yeah.
Well, like you said though, it's only 5 feet of elevation out there, so it's not like although you do have some pretty wild greens now, so I'm sure they enjoyed that.
Yeah, I mean we had 10 rollers, so they 19 green. They're only doing about 4 greens B, so not too strenuous. It does actually, it actually went really quick. So I think the guys, they kind of enjoyed it, and uh, you know, I had hand rolled greens from my time at Muirfield with the old Gandys and filling them up
Yeah.
with water, and
You want to talk about some heavy hand rollers? Jeez, criminy.
so we were looking at the stats. Yeah, the Gandy, a full Gandy is like 430 pounds. So it's like, holy cow. That gets you some speed.
Yeah.
So we've mentioned Muirfield here a couple times, and I've been looking forward to asking you about maybe some of the people you've worked with there, worked for there. We've always talked about it being Muirfield University, a lot that goes on there. And so just talk to us a little bit about there, some of your best memories and some of the people you've worked with.
Yeah. I mean, awesome to be a part of that club's history, and, having an opportunity to work there is just such a great choice. Coming out of college it was going to be between Augusta and Muirfield, and
Ooh, tough choice.
Paul gave me a week. He's like, yeah, you got till Friday to decide, and Augusta's like, oh, we'll get 2 weeks. I'm like, so I waited till Thursday, and then I called Paul back and said, hey, I'm coming to work for you. But
Nice.
he, I mean, you can't speak highly enough of the guys in that operation. Having the opportunity to work with, Paul and Matt Powell, Rich McIntosh, Kyle Steidel, obviously, Jared Waite, Chad. I only worked for Chad for a little bit, but, working with Chad Mark, James Bryson, Ben Dewan, and then, I mean, all the younger guys too, like Nate McInnes, Will Houchin. So many people that you still stay in touch with, and all the fun stuff we got to do. Jack was always obviously changing things up, and so every fall was a project. Whether it's a couple fairway bunkers or some greenside bunkers or some new tees, or so getting exposed to that, and new irrigation installations. I remember one year City of Dublin put a sewer line through the 11th tee. Which was wild because quite similar to our storm drainage project, actually. But it was just basically like, I think at that time I was the irrigation tech, and I remember Jared telling me, I just cut it free. Like, what do you mean? It's like, just cut it free. And then this massive excavator came out. Okay, yeah, no, like they're gonna tear it out. Like, we're not saving this pipe. You just cut far enough back on each end, we're going to put it back together. But um, getting an opportunity to do all that, and then the professional development there too was always fantastic. We get to go to OTF or Penn State, or sometimes you get to go to the national show. You always have different vendors and industry experts kind of coming in and keeping you updated about what was going on. And then getting to spend some time in the shop with Bill is always a hoot. Um, but it was great because there's just it's kind of a bunch of guys. We're all a similar age. They're all hardworking, dedicated. Trying to make a name for themselves and trying to highlight the club as best as they can. And it's awesome to be a part of something like that. And having the tournament helps. That just kind of like every year there's something to work towards, and it sort of answers the why question, and like, why do we work so hard, why do we do this? Well, it's to improve and to make next year's memorial better, and kind of taking that with you as you go, that like every day you have to get better. Every day you have to try to improve something. And I think that was sort of instilled in us from our time there. And then trying to be as professional as you possibly can as well too. And just having the network of those guys, and then as they all became superintendents and meeting their assistants, and it just sort of kind of umbrellas out from there, where now you have sort of assistants who were at Muirfield who were superintendents. You now have assistants who are superintendents who are like, it's it's like a chain reaction of talent kind of expanding throughout the business, and it's really special to be a part of that.
You got any big any trips planned? You planning on going to visit any of those guys or anything, or now with the baby you're pretty much locked in?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was kind of hoping to get out to the Am. I was watching it last night on Peacock, and was like, wow, this is sweet. And then Ben, Ben's got a big project going on now at Cobbs Creek, just down the road from Marion, and they're doing some really cool stuff there. I stopped out a couple years ago when it was just kind of getting going with the land clearing. Yeah, probably not in the near future, but I'm hoping next year maybe I can get down to see Rich. Get off property a little bit, go check some stuff out. Kind of put the blinders on here for the last 2 years, so it'd be nice to at least get out and see some other golf courses and go out and pick some guys' brains about the different way they're doing things. I think that's huge, especially in this business. Everybody always does things slightly differently, and having the ability to kind of go out and see what somebody else is doing and how maybe you could take a part of that to your organization and your program and improve what you're doing at your own site.
Turf Today is also brought to you by Back Nine Irrigation. And Back Nine Irrigation helps golf courses diagnose irrigation problems faster, saving time, money, and unnecessary parts replacement. Their pneumatic irrigation test system uses the shop air you already have in your maintenance facility to test casings, solenoids, bottom valves, pilot valves, and all the internals, making sure they're field ready for whenever they go back into the ground. They also offer nationwide field service, hands-on training, and technical support for golf course irrigation systems. Stop guessing, diagnose first, replace second, save money. Learn more at back9irrigation.com.
So I got to say, I haven't been there, unfortunately, and I feel bad I haven't been up there in quite a while. But when I turned the TV on and I saw that fescue on your golf course during the tournament, holy moly, that was some of the sexiest fescue I think I've ever seen. How on earth did you get it to pop like that, man?
I don't know. I'm wondering a little bit myself sometimes. A little bit of fertilizer, a little bit of water, a couple sprays. And then, a lot of that, like the bunker faces and stuff, were all sodded. So I think the key is having a good partner, in any construction project. Material selection is key, right? So making sure your sod provider is a really high quality sod provider, that helps a lot too. So I think we had a great partnership with our sod provider, DeBucks, up here in Michigan, and I think they gave us some phenomenal grass, and so I'd say they're just as much as part of that success as anything we were doing here. Is, they gave us some really good looking grass, and is also, wasn't full of weeds and all the other challenges sometimes you get from other providers. So I think that helped a lot. And then, just some different maintenance strategies that, talking to a lot of the other guys in this business about, fescues and what you do. Cause we had native areas at caves, but that was pretty wild stuff. I mean, that wasn't like your fine fescues, maintained fine fescue areas. So.
All right. Well, you do have a couple memorable days on the golf course. I don't know if you want to tell either the tractor or the Mini X story.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. We were building a dam on the stream on 11 at Muirfield one year. So Jared Waite was an assistant at the time, and kind of Jared and I were like the project team. Something was project to be done. It was sort of me and Jared, and it was awesome, getting to work with him and do a bunch of different stuff and little construction projects here and there. And so we're putting a dam or a weir in on 11. And there's this, I don't know if it's still there, but there was this old cart path that cut in front of the tees on 11. And when I first got to Muirfield as an intern, I was told, like, don't go down this cart path. It's slicker than ice, and it's just, don't go down it. You're going to slide. So, this is maybe a year or 2, 3 years into it. And I'm like, I'm pretty good at what I do. I got a tractor and a Pronovos loaded down with gravel, and I'm like, I got this. So we go down the cart path you're not supposed to go down. The the trailer pushes the tractor, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Sliding across the rough, jackknife stops feet. I kid you, feet from the creek. And, I'm looking for a change of pants. My heart is pounding out of my chest. I walk up to Jared. He kind of looks at me like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Got any of that grizzly left?" He's like, I go, I almost put this tractor in the creek. He's like, "Well, don't do that." I'm like, "Yeah, obviously." So that was my my close call with death there. And then at Caves, we were doing a pond bank restoration project on, they flipped the nines. Let's see, 11,
17
12,
now.
13.
13.
Would be 13. It's a par 3 over the pond. So we're kind of building a shelf, doing gabion baskets, and I'm kind of down in the pond. We had drained the pond a little bit and benched in a shelf, and I'm kind of building the shelf with the Mini X and tracking back and forth, and I hit a soft spot and sunk the Mini X up to the cab, and tried to work my way out, because again, I'm a pretty good operator, but was not working. So kind of reached out, dug into the bank so it wouldn't sink, and then called the mechanic, who is a gem. Would strongly recommend if you guys could talk to him. He's awesome. And so, hey Jim, I got the Mini stuck, and I'll never forget what Jim said is, there's no such thing as a stuck piece of equipment, only stuck operators. Like, all right. So, he came out with a backhoe and some chains, and we got it freed up. But yeah, that was hairy, about to sink a $90,000 excavator into a pond.
Would have made a nice feature on that par 3 there, though. I mean, would have fit in. It's an old farm.
Yeah. But
I still love getting calmed down by a can of Grizzly. That's fantastic. I'll solve any problem you have that day.
Yeah, that was back in the day. We don't do that anymore. But
no,
yeah.
You used to be able to get them. I remember you get a log of them for like $9.
What was it? The dark wintergreen, or yeah, was the go-to.
So I want to hear. I saw some of it online, but what was the response to the renovation, to the new golf course?
Oh, overwhelmingly positive. I mean, we had numerous pros who were just kind of over the moon with it, and a little bit disappointed that they weren't going to have another opportunity to come out and play it. But obviously if they ever were in the area, we would, we'd gladly host them. But
They have to be accompanied, though. I mean, by
I,
you.
well, yeah, I mean, we'll get that, or we'll get one of the pros, one of our pros to play with the other pros that they would,
Yeah.
we got a great one here, Carl Hayes. He's awesome. So I'm sure he could figure something out for us. But yeah, I mean the stuff Wyndham was saying was really kind of over the moon, and we had a lot of guys who were, saying some stuff that I don't know. I mean, I could see it from a perspective, but they're saying this is kind of closer to like a major championship course now. I mean, I don't know if we got the space to put all the infrastructure up for something like that, but it's nice to hear that, guys who play in those events and play on those courses kind of now hold your course in that regard. And I mean, coming from what it was to what it is now it's not even a 180. It's a 360. And really, I think seeing the golf course perform the way it did, being able to control a little bit more of that moisture, being able to dry things out. I think the first time we ever had firm fairways.
Yeah,
And
those suckers were moving.
we had Cam Young hit a 385-yard drive on 16 because it rolled 60 yards. I was like, oh, boys, get the hand watering going, which is a new irrigation system with quick couplers every other head down the middle row. It's like now you can do that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now you can actually produce championship quality conditioning because you have the infrastructure to support what you're trying to do, which was, I took some pictures of it kind of like nerding out where we had, 5 guys kind of down the middle of the fairway, all hitting hot spots. And I was just like, oh, this is everything I imagined it would be. And it was fantastic. Yeah. So, and then even kind of asking a little bit, hey, what do you, we got the cameras on, like, hey, what do you think? How you feeling? And went and talked to Neil Shipley when he was out in his practice round, and he was really complimentary. It's like incredible, like what you guys did, because he didn't play in 25, but he played in 24, and it's like, I love this. Now I got to figure out how to play it.
Good Buckeye right there.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was nice to hear, and I think more for the membership, really. Like your investment was worth it, and the guys who play, the top end courses in the country, like your top end course, and I think that was awesome. And then also the score too, matched our lowest. We were hoping for like a 16, but there was some rain in the forecast Sunday, and they were, they went preferred lies, and so I think that helped a little bit. But
yeah,
ultimately, I think it wasn't a 30 under, which is always kind of in the back of your mind where it's like, oh, this could go sideways, but it didn't. And we had some low, like, right out of the gate, here's a low round, here's another low round. I'm like, oh, here we go again. But
that's always expected, right? I mean, Thursday, you're going to get something deep because, like we just talked about earlier, the golf course is playing at its probably easiest on Thursday and Friday because you're waiting to, again, drop the hammer and get things firm. So it's always expected.
Yeah, it was just a little PTSD from 25 where they went, 10 under on Thursday, new course record, and then 11 under on Friday, new course record. And I'm just like, no,
guys,
it's because you're doing too good of a job and the conditions are too pure.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, but that's also got to speak volumes just in the field that you guys were able to draw. I mean, when you look at the first couple of years of, when you were there in the field, I mean, no offense to the event, but I mean, the field was, it wasn't what it was this year. You had some studs this year.
Yeah, I think, can't remember all the stats, but it was like 5 of the top 30. Yeah, and not to take anything away from our champion, but I was kind of rooting for Xander there at the end. Trying to get a picture with Xander would be pretty neat. But we got a nice Massachusetts boy. first win on tour, and I think it's also good to have some of the young guys win your event, because then hopefully they continue to move on and have a good career, and then you can say you're kind of a part of the golf history. And that was one of the things I said to the staff and the volunteers Sunday morning. Was like, thank you for everything you guys have done this week. It's been phenomenal. Everybody rave reviews, and we're now going to be a part of golf history, where this will be the last Rocket Classic. But now you can all say you were a part of golf history in some shape or form.
We got a great question from the community, and we've got this one a couple times now. I think we have talked about it on the show. Brian and I were going to take a stab at it, but the fact that we have you here, I think this is a perfect one for someone like you to help us with. So the question is, I'm a 20-year-old assistant superintendent, and I've been in the role for about 7 months. I was hoping to get some advice from people who have been in my shoes about how to be a better communicator with my crew. Most of my crew is around my age, in their 20s, and I was wondering how you earn respect from people who are your age or even older than you.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you how I did it. It was always, taking an opportunity to kind of get in the trenches and work with the guys, whether it's, as you're kind of bouncing around, checking on the crew, like hop in and help rake a bunker, right? You don't want to ever get, when you're in a management role, you don't ever really want to get too tied down to one thing, but you jump in, you help them rake a bunker. If they're mowing greens and they're walk mowing or using turning mats, move the mats for them. Um, just jump in and kind of help out any way you can. I think that goes a long way. And then when you do get an opportunity to kind of lead a project, whether you're doing a drainage project or you're fine tuning bunkers or, whatever it might be, that you're kind of really taking the bull by the horns. You're, making sure everybody has all the tools they need. Everybody knows what they're doing. You're giving direction, but you're not sort of standing and pointing. You're one of the things, Brett Bentley used to say, which I always break out once in a while, is asses and elbows. It's all he wants to see is, you're bent over, you're working hard, you're going after it. And I think that goes a long way, especially when you're trying to earn the respect of an older crew member who maybe has worked on that golf course longer than you've been alive. That's going to be how you do it, is show them that you're just as passionate, just as dedicated, just as committed to the property as this person who's been here for 30, 40 years is. That's how you're going to do it. And it also comes from character, spending time talking to your crew, getting some background, what's their family like? Do they have kids? What's their favorite sport? What kind of music do they like? And building a real relationship. I don't think you can't lead people without having a relationship, and the relationship's got to be built on a foundation of trust. And so that respect comes after they begin to trust you, right? And they trust you because you're a high character person. You do what you say you're going to do. You're working hard. You're not, oh, I'm just hiding under a tree because I'm the assistant or something. Like, if you're doing stuff like that, your crew's never going to respect you. That, and then competency, right? So like, what you're talking about as well too. And so being able to impart some wisdom or some knowledge, I think goes a long way too. Is that transition from, hey, here's what I want you to do, and here's why I want you to do it, and here's why it's more impactful for the grass. Here's why it makes the grass better. Here's what can be the negative if we don't do it this way, right? Versus just, I told you not to do it that way, don't do it that way. Kind of coaching and teaching and training, and then helping connect the dots between, like, okay, this is the way I want you to do this maintenance practice, and here's the benefits of it, here's the negatives of it, and kind of building and developing that knowledge base within your staff member really goes a long way in building that respect of the staff member. So biggest thing. And then, I think your cliche is like first in, last out, right? Be the guy who's firing up the coffee pot in the morning. You want their respect, beat them into work. You want their respect, stay later than them. But if you're showing up a minute before start time and, it's whatever, you're going, it's time to go home and you're the first one clocking out, like, yeah, the old guys probably aren't going to respect that. So it really comes down to that dedication and that passion and that showing them that you're committed at the highest level, to that property and to the club. And because a lot of these guys and gals have put their life into the property. We have a handful of them here at DGC who've, they've been here longer than I've been alive, and I'm 35. So, like, it's it's a process of like showing them, okay, there's a next level. I'm going to show you how to get to the next level because I want to help you get there. Versus, here's the next level, and if you can't do it, you're out. It's that investment of your time, your effort, your energy, your expertise into that person is going to build that respect. And so, um, and the relationship side of it. So really, I think from that angle, that the young person just really needs to spend time with their staff, with their crew, um, and learning about them, trying to impart some wisdom, some knowledge, and then conversely, let them impart a little bit of wisdom and knowledge on you. Um, I think back to my time at Caves. When we got there, there was a tee on the first hole, be the 10th hole now, was like toast. And this is April. So like Kyle's like, hey, you're gonna rebuild this tee. I'm like, all right, got it. So I'm over there, kind of get it all shaped out and get the drainage in, and then I'm trying to level it out with a laser and a rake, and I'm having a hell of a time. One of our old Hispanic guys, I think he's since retired, but his name was Leo San Juan. Leo comes up, he goes, Maestro. He called everybody Maestro. Maestro, uh, can I help you? I'm like, yeah, of course, Leo, sure. He says something in Spanish to another guy. Guy takes off, and I'm like, yeah, well, here's what I'm trying to do. He goes, yeah. Okay, yeah, you find me one good spot. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll get you one. Guy comes back with a ladder and a rope, and they take this ladder and spin it in circles back and forth. And in about 5 minutes, they had the tee leveled, and I was I was on it for like an hour and a half and making no progress. So then it's a little bit of like, okay, you know what you're talking about, so I'm going to give you a little bit of that grace and that respect back. And so it is a bit of a give and take where if there's an opportunity for them to show you a little thing or two, uh, let them, and then I think just helps continue to build that relationship and that trust component, and then ultimately that's how you're gonna excel as a leader.
That certainly can't happen overnight, right?
Yeah.
No, years, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, we always like to close things out, Sam. Just give you an opportunity if there's anything you want to talk about, anything you want to bring up. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I think, for me, it's just, I'd like to do a little shameless self promotion for my staff. My guys, North Course Super Rich Juvanchik, our North Course assistant Nate Voss, our construction superintendent Steve Addis. Those guys made a huge sacrifice last year, with all the construction work we did, and then our two mechanics, Tim Travis and Duncan Smith, the constant, mower adjustments and mower setups and this and that. I need this piece of equipment, and the hell I put them through last year. I can't thank those guys enough. And then our intern Jack Wiegand, who came back this year as an AIT. He was there sun up to sundown with us, and it's been great to be able to have somebody kind of go through that process and then come back, see the finished product, and really want to be a part of that. And our staff as a whole, like and we had guys kind of jumping in and out, helping sod greens and helping hand water. I mean, I think we were up over 1 million square feet of sod, from just rough sod and fescue sod and bent sod, and just the hours and hours of work that our guys, and the sacrifices they made. Like my success is predicated on their success, and I think your people are your most important asset, and I will take that to the grave. I mean, you can have the best plan, the best program, the best everything, and if you don't have the people who can execute it and the people who have the dedication and the passion to bring it to life, it doesn't mean anything. So those guys are, on the face of the organization, but those guys deserve majority of the credit, really, for what we were able to accomplish here in the last 2 years.
It's not a shameless plug at all. That's a deserved plug, man. Absolutely. Great to see you, Sam. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I've been listening since the beginning, and I enjoy hearing the different perspectives and all the interesting people you bring on here. So, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for being able to highlight me, and I was kind of hoping at some point I'd be able to do something like this. So I'm
We've
excited.
been talking about it for hell, you and I have been talking about it for about 2 years, and I keep telling you, no, dude, you got too much on your plate. No.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Try to look out for you, Sam.
To be honest with you, Sam, you're the first guest where we talked about having you on, and I actually went, wait a minute, have we not already interviewed him? And start going back in my mind. I'm like, no, we haven't done this yet. Like, okay, let's get this going.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we were finally able to get it in, and now you can go and rest with your wife and your baby, and hopefully have a little bit of time off once the season ends.
Yeah. That's the game plan is maybe get somewhere warm when it starts getting cold up here. Spend some time with them. So
out on the water.
That would be key.
Yeah.
Key.
Love it. Good stuff, buddy. Great to see you, man.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem, brother. Thank you. Keep in touch, all right?
Yep. See ya.
What a beauty.
Sam's fantastic.
Yeah. And he's got so many different stories and stuff we could dig into, but that's a guy that's worked at so many different courses over so many different years, so he's just seen it all.
Yeah. He certainly has.
Mm-hmm. And he seems like a guy that just is loved by everybody that's worked with him. I remember seeing him at the show or at the one party we had at the bar there, and just it was like him in the middle of the circle and everybody around him because they all wanted to talk to him, they all wanted to be around him, and yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, no, he's a great time. I've had a lot of good times with Sam, so yeah, it's good hang for sure.
Mm-hmm. So you're getting ready to gear up to go out to the Pacific Northwest soon.
The PNW, man, it's gonna be a great trip.
Yeah, how many golf courses are you gonna hit? Because you guys are 10 days out there, I think.
10 days.
You doing a 10 and 10?
No, we are not. I'm taking the weekend off. We're so taking my son up there for his 18th birthday / high school graduation present. He's gonna tag along. It's take your son to work day / week. So yeah, he's gonna go work with me, and we're gonna try and play some golf after visits, and then we're gonna take the weekend and try and play a couple rounds on the weekend. So I think we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 visits.
7 and 10 is pretty good.
Days. Yeah. So, and it's, all the way from Seattle down to Eugene. So it's, we've got a couple hour drives in between, which will be fun. So I've already warned him, he's going to be exhausted during and at the end of it. I'm already tired thinking about it. But it'll be worth it. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah. Memories to be made. Something you guys will never forget.
Nope. Yeah, exactly. It should be a lot of fun. Recommendations?
Yeah. Movie recommendations lately. Well, dude, I think I watched like 10 movies on the trip to Minnesota, just planes.
Yeah, you got stuck in the airport.
I got stuck in the airport for a while, which was this was crazy. In Minnesota, they have that PGA lounge. So you can go up and, I got changed because we came straight from the golf course. So I got changed, had a bite to eat, had a drink, and I was rolling putts and life was good. I had about an hour until I had to go down to the plane. And I get a call from one of the guys on the trip. Adam, they're grounding all of the planes in the United States right now. I'm standing there by myself, just, oh my God. Are we getting invaded by aliens? What's happening? Come to find out it was only our airport. They had grounded a bunch of planes, and it ruined everybody's travel. So, I didn't leave till the next day. So put a lot of movies into the device over the week. So I would say the top 3 that I saw recently, and I know we talked a little bit about The Odyssey. The Odyssey was fantastic.
That
one of the best movies
very
I've
good.
ever seen. I want to see it again. I want to go see it in IMAX because it was that good.
Yeah.
So hopefully do that again soon. That one was really good. The other two that I wanted to throw out there, the first one was called Crime 101. It was kind of like a diamond thief kind of cop movie. So, but very funny, very well written, a lot of good actors. That was Chris Hemsworth, I believe. I don't think it was Liam. It was one of the Hemsworth brothers, and there was a few other recognizable names in that one. So that was one to check out. The other one that I absolutely loved is a movie called Remarkably Bright Creatures. And it's kind of an undercover one. I believe it's on Netflix. It's about an aquarium and the workers at an aquarium, and it's a story. It'll make you cry. If you've got a family out there, it's one of those ones that'll make you cry. So if you have a movie you've been trying to watch with your spouse or with your kid or something like that with your family, this is Remarkably Bright Creatures was a 10 out of 10. So can't recommend it enough.
I watched 72 Hours with Kevin Hart the other day. Yeah, if you ever just need a stupid laugh, that one was
man,
funny.
That's good. He's got the big face.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was a funny one. That I had that one on my list from the other day too. It was good. There's lots of good ones out recently, and we're getting into that time of the year. The summer can be tough, like they do a couple hot summer movies, but getting into the fall, back to school, leading into Christmas and Oscar time and everything, that's when all the big good stuff comes out. So it's going to be a good time of year, and we have football starting soon.
Oh my gosh, thank God.
Yeah, NHL's around the corner. MLB playoffs are coming up. It's a good time.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a good time. Yes, finally it's here.
So like, I mean, I'm just not a huge baseball guy. I love going to games, but I can't sit there and watch baseball on TV. And so when that's like really your only option for sports right now, obviously I'll tune into golf. But now the playoffs are getting started, it'll be fun. But yeah, man, it's just, thank goodness football's almost here.
Yeah. Baseball's on in the background. It's great. But to sit down and watch a game is hard. And I love baseball. I would go play right now if we could. But it's to sit down and watch it on TV. It's difficult.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Yeah, people say that about golf too. But if you're like just addicted to golf though, like you're going to watch it.
Yeah, no, I'll always, again, even if it's just to take a nap, I'll turn it on.
That is going to put a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much to Sam Moynihan for a little bit of time today. It's so great getting to talk to different people in the industry and hearing all the different stories, all the different avenues people have taken to get to where they are. Sam is a true inspiration to somebody who said, I want to work at a tournament. I want to be in the mix, and hosting numerous Rocket Classics and taking on massive renovations, and now probably one of the biggest projects of his life, but the best job he's ever going to have. We're very excited for Sam. We're very fortunate to have had some time with him today. Thank you to Brian. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Everybody have a great week. Keep those reels sharp.